All right, guys, let's do this. What up? It's JoJo on the radio. This is the iHeartRadio Countdown. Ryan Tedder, when's the last time I saw you in the flesh?
In the flesh, it's probably been close to 3 years.
Good God. All right, we had a FaceTime the other day, and this, not to start this whole thing off, but the first thing you said was something about you had just got off the phone or just got through texting with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Don't tell that story yet,
okay.
But that's the first thing. All right, we got lots to chat. Music, life, OneRepublic, Top Gun, Tom Cruise. You and I jump on this FaceTime, just whatever, and you said, dude, I'm just now texting with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And we, of course, me and Beata, we were both on this FaceTime. We're both like, say what?
Yeah.
What's the text with Tom Cruise like?
I won't get into the details of the text.
None of the personal stuff.
I think the context of that conversation was regarding Top Gun and our song being in Top Gun. And I remember Beata saying something about whatever the record, you might have a song here. And it is in thanks to and gratitude to Tom Cruise and Jerry Bruckheimer. Towards the beginning of the pandemic, I had nothing but time on my hands, and I was writing songs for movies, TV, film, like working. I was doing Zoom sessions for the Ariana album back in the day, et cetera, et cetera. And I get a call from a buddy named Randy at Paramount Pictures. I've done a lot of songs for his films, and he said, "Man, here's one for you. What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Nothing. I'm quarantining like everybody else."
Right.
This is like May of 2020. I'm quarantining. What are you doing? He said, "Well, can you hop on a Zoom with me, Tom Cruise, and Jerry Bruckheimer? We need to play you a scene. We're having an issue with this major scene in Top Gun. We've tested out 29, 30 songs in this scene, and none of them are working. And we just decided that you need to write an original for this scene." I told him you could deliver, so don't let me down, right? So we do a Zoom for 30 minutes. We watch the scene. It's the beach. What was the beach volleyball scene is now the beach football scene. And Tom is enthusiastically saying, "Man, what this song needs to capture, it's the only time in the movie in Top Gun, if nobody's seen it, I'm sorry to give this away, but it's the only time in the movie for 3.5 minutes that they let off the gas, that you're not like nervous about what's about to happen, right? Because the movie's so intense. So for the first time, nobody's worried about anything. And it's Southern California. It's good vibes, but it needs to have tempo. So my mind is like, I'm watching the scene, and I've done songs for movies for probably 18 years now. So I'm good at watching scenes and in my mind transferring what that should sound like.
Now you're watching the scene with no music or watching with whatever song?
With no music. I'm watching the scene, and I go, man, this feels like, to me, a tempo version of like the Beach Boys meets the Gorillaz. And that was kind of what I said. The Gorillaz kind of cool bass line, think like Feel Good Inc., Clint Eastwood, right?
Right.
Dum, 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 right? That kind of vibe. But I'm picturing these Beach Boys harmonies and a more syncopated breakbeat type of thing. And I'm describing all this stuff to him just like, with words. And I said, and I think it should have kind of an indie vibe, like an indie band, not like overtly pop, but like kind of a more indie vibe. And he's like, yes to all this. Yes, Beach Boys. Oh my God. And I love that one. I love the Gorillaz. Do that. So then the next morning, my bass player sends me, I say, come up with a couple music starts for me and send them to me. He sends me 2 ideas. I listen to one of them. And the first thing I kind of started laughing, and I go, "Oh my God, I have an idea." And I went, I can't whistle into this mic. It's blocking my whistle, but you know what I mean?
Right.
I do the whistle. I just have the melody instantly. I whistle, and I call my guy, and I go, "Hey, what if we start the song with the whistle, but then the verse melody is the same as the whistle melody? So everything is a hook. Super short verse." And then he's like, "What do you think about the chorus?" I said, "Man, I've got this phrase. It's like, I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, man. 1999 heroes." I had all these weird words, weird lyrics that were kind of placeholder. I recorded it that morning. This is the day after the Tom Cruise Zoom. And I have the verse and chorus done by probably lunchtime. I send it back to Brent in my band, and he goes, "Oh my God, this is it. This is it." We get it nice. We mix it. We send it to Tom that evening. And I get a call within, I think, 5-6 minutes. My phone's blowing up. It's like, "Tom Cruise, this is weird. Okay, what's up, dude? Are you serious? Did you already have the song written?" "No." Wait a minute. So you tell me you watched the scene yesterday with me and Jerry, and you literally just woke up and did this. I said, yeah. And he was like, I don't even understand this. He's like, I'm cutting it to picture now. We're going to put it to picture and see how it works. Let's jump on a Zoom tomorrow, but I don't even know what to say. Next day we get on the Zoom and he's like, this is the song. This is the song. This is the song. And he's just like doing the happy dance. And
what the heck?
And then we ended up doing specific edits to the scene. I mean, we went in on detail, like having the track, certain hits and whistles and noises happen when they'd catch the football or bump chests or whatever. And then that was it. And then I finished the song. I only finished the song a few months ago. Like legitimately, I finished right. There was no second verse. So the part that goes into like, I'm at my best when I got something I wanted to steal, like that whole part, we didn't have that till probably 3-4 months ago.
New album in the works?
New album in the works. I always say the goal and then it gets moved. Our goal would be to have it out by the fourth quarter, like November. We definitely have enough songs now. We're putting together five songs that all to us feel like the biggest records humanly possible for us to follow. I Ain't Worried, but we probably won't, the way it works with the world of music is a song goes to radio and streaming and like some songs last 3 months, some songs last 9 months. You look at like Bieber and Leroy Stay, like he couldn't even release another song for 3/4 of a year because the song was so big. So we're going to sit back. We're promoting I Ain't Worried, promoting our tour, and then depending on when the timing is right, we'll release the follow-up single coupled with the new album.
Which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Dude's the best problem to have. It's the best problem to have. And and it's we're just letting it do its thing. My whole theory, there's 75,000 songs a day released.
Jesus.
So, yes, exactly. So, I mean, Jesus himself couldn't compete, right? So, he'd have to part the songs or something. So, like, it's so much that when you do catch something that just blows up internationally, you have luck, you have fate, God, everything. The soup of what makes a song connect these days, TikTok being probably the biggest driver of anything. What I was hinting at a minute ago, joking, not joking, Miles Teller, that scene where he's shirtless and he's laughing and it's in slow-mo and he's got an 8-pack.
Right.
That went viral.
You've seen the movie. I mean, in the final product, Top Gun Maverick, how many times now?
4 times.
And I know when you were producing the song, you guys probably just watched the one scene over and over and you saw it without music. What's it like to see the finished product with your song just in a prime slot?
It's insanity. Tom was kind enough to send me, this is probably more than a year ago, probably 15 months ago. Tom hit me up and said, hey, I want to arrange a screening for you and your wife and your family if you want to go to the IMAX, the private IMAX theater that Paramount has. And I want you to watch the movie. And I want you to take notes when you're watching it and tell me any points in the film that you think I should address or that could be better or worse or anything.
Not just musically,
not just
the
music.
film.
I was like, I can't believe that he's asking me to do this. I was like, seriously, you want me to like, okay. He's like, be brutal. Like anything you think is off, I need you to text me. I need you to tell me that like, this could be better. We watch the movie. We're beyond floored. My wife doesn't sit around like daydreaming about fighter plane movies. Like she doesn't, that's not her typical go-to. I was like, well, I don't think she's going to like this. We get 20 minutes in and we're just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And then it keeps getting better and better and better. We get to the end of it. And I said I text Tom, goes, well, what do you think? And his assistant's sitting right behind me. So like, I have to be truthful. I said, dude, I don't want to jinx this, but I think this might be my favorite movie of yours, and I've seen all of them, that you've ever done, A. B, I think this is the best sequel I've ever seen, tied only with Godfather 2, and that's one of the highest rated sequels of all time.
Right.
And I said 3, it's a disservice to call it a sequel. It's not a sequel. This is a part of the story, but it's not the sequel. I think this will be one of the biggest movies in your career. And then within 7 days of release, it became the biggest movie in his career. And it's rated, ironically, pretty much just as high on IMDb and all the rating systems as Godfather Part 2.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is truly unbelievable.
My daughter, who's 14, she knew of the first one, hasn't really seen it.
Yeah.
She came with us to a screening. she told her mom, my wife, she said, if I look sort of like I'm disinterested, Mom, ignore me. I'm probably not going to like the movie.
Yeah.
Could not stop screaming during the middle of it. She was into it. So I get it. Something completely different. You're working with a ton of people. You're probably going to look at me and kind of dance around this question. You know what it is, Beyonce. Yeah. What can you say? And what happens if you say? Here's my real question. What happens if you were to say the wrong thing about this project? That's what I really want to know.
Ryan Tedder mysteriously disappears. Tour canceled. No, I'm one of the only writer producers who's also an artist, like how would you say, a well-known artist, right? So naturally, I do infinitely more interviews than anyone else she works with, or Adele or Ed Sheeran. Anyone that I work with, I'm going to be put on the spot 100 times more than any other writer they work with, right? So, what I can say is that, like, they keep everybody, and she's earned the right to keep everybody in the dark about everything until the last minute. I found out, this is a true story. I've never told this on there you go. Here's an exclusive.
All right, here we go.
As I'm skirting the original question.
Perfect.
I didn't find out that XO was the first single on 2 albums ago. The album before Lemonade, the self-titled album, Beyonce. It was XO and Drunk in Love with Jay-Z, right?
Right.
I didn't find out that XO was A, on the album, B, coming out, C, the first single, until 24 hours before release.
Shut up.
I was in London. I got a call. Where are you? I'm in a studio. I was writing this song called Ghost by Ella Henderson. I was recording it, which became her big hit. And I was in the studio. I had to make Ella. They said, whoever the artist is in the room, you got to send them away. That was literally what happened. So I had sent Ella into the other room, her manager into the other room, shut the doors in the studio. No one else can hear it. I was the only one in the room. And they played me the mix of XO and said, we need your notes on XO and anything. And I had to call the mixer in real time because the song was being mastered that night and it was going live the next morning.
What the heck?
So to say, I don't know who leaked that I was working on this upcoming album. It definitely wasn't me. I have not said anything, but then Variety posted an article and then that went everywhere. So that's out there. The reason I don't say anything is A, out of respect for her. It's her project. And B, because the amount of times I've been told by countless artists, and you know who you are, babe, where these artists have looked me in the eyes, hugged me and said, bro, first single, you got the first single, man, da-da-da-da. Or the labels called me and said, hey, man, congrats, we just mixed it, you got the first single. I get told that at least once every 6 weeks. And
then it doesn't happen?
And then not only does it not happen, 90% of the time, the artist flim-flams, and then it doesn't even end up on the album. I go from having the first single to it's not on the album.
That is what?
It didn't used to happen. By the way, prior to social media exploding, and which is a power shift back into the artist's hands, right? When you have if you have 7, 8, 9 million followers, there's the perception that you know what's best because look how many people follow me. It's an illusion, right? Yes, you should control your own destiny, but A&Ring and picking the best song to release is it is an art form. It is a thing, where with people who have had years and years in the music business, you hand them 10 songs and if everyone at the label, everyone's going, look, they're not always right? Definitely 100%. A lot of people close to me did not think Counting Stars was a hit whatsoever. Right. But that happens. But the power shift with social media, artists will often just at the last minute decide I'm switching singles and nobody can stop me. And who gets burned in that is the writer and the producer. So I've been disappointed, for as long as I've been doing this, 17 years, 15 years with OneRepublic since Apologize. Everyone thinks, oh my God, you must have the golden touch, this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, if you knew how many times I get F you, you know what? I can't say on radio. completely hosed by a label, artist, manager, the whole team, where I feel completely used and just cast to the side. That is 95% of the time I feel disappointed. 5% of the time I feel like, oh, I might have a shot with this one. And that's the truth. So that's why with Beyonce, I don't say a damn thing because I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe I should stop asking that question because she might off me too if I say the wrong thing. She'd be like,
nah, she's the sweetest. You know what? The truth is, Beyonce in person is, Alicia Keys, that type of energy.
Right.
Beyonce's more veiled, right, and more behind. You don't see much of that. She is all the joy and love and that positive energy that Alicia gives off, which is genuine. The only other person I've ever been in a room with that has that same energy and presence is Beyonce.
Wow, I've met Beyonce years ago, but not since the last couple.
She is kindness and she is just the kindest. She's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you guys working on together. It'll be.
I don't know. I can't wait. If anything I did, if anything I'm doing goes anywhere, yeah.
We'll see. Tour life, never ending summer tour. How's the tour going? I think it ends September, unless you add dates and whatnot in Jacksonville. You like tour life? How's it going?
Yeah, I love touring. This is the longest. I don't know that we'll ever do a full scale tour this long or this big in America again. Only because I've done it a bunch. And I'm kind of at that point, super excited about this tour, but it's a lot of dates. It's a lot of dates, man. And we just got back from Europe. We go to Asia. We go to Middle East, South Africa coming up. But, it's been 5 years. And then the pandemic's 2.5 years. So we're kind of, in a way, over-indexing, like we're making up for lost time by doing all this touring. But we made a promise to ourselves as a band. We kind of drew a line on the calendar. Europe started in May or April, the Europe tour, and then I said, okay, from this April to next April, we're going to be gone a lot. We're going to do way more touring than we should, and then we're not ever going to be gone that much again. So this is a special tour for us because I'll never do a tour this extensive in America again.
You ever looked at when you get the first, I was with, it was Bruno at one point, and he was, before he kicked off this gigantic tour, and I was looking at all these dates, and it like small print, 1 million, and to me I thought, God, it would be almost depressing kind of to look at all these dates.
It is.
Exciting, but
I got shown the dates. Here's the type of tours that I like, for the record. I like major markets that doing 20 dates or less for being gone for a month. That's my dream scenario is a month-long tour, nothing longer than 4 or 5 weeks. I've toured America so extensively so many times that what happens is you start to get, there's certain places where you're like, I don't know how many times I can go to fill in the blank city, right? Like I've seen it, I've been there. And I enjoy performing. But, I've got a family. It's hard to be away from them. That much is always true. And you tend to, at least not all artists, right? The majority of the artists that I know, they hang out in their hotel rooms. They spend a lot of time in the hotel and they don't get out into the city. I hit the streets. I go out into the city. I want to check out the culture, see the vibe. So the longer you do this, it's kind of like, R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain, but how Anthony, the further he got into his career, he started seeking out the weirder places. Like, can I go to Libya? You know what I mean?
Right.
Those types of things. So I'm the same way. So I'm now with touring more like, I've never played Vietnam. I want to play Vietnam. What's that like? I want to play different cities. I've played India twice. I want to go play different cities. We were supposed to play Moscow and St. Petersburg, and then Putin had to go and start a freaking war. But we were looking forward to going to Russia at the time because that's some different, dynamic, crazy place. You start to crave the weirder things. You know what I mean? That as you tour, you just want to see more culturally interesting spots. Thank God I have that, and I love traveling. Otherwise, tour would actually be very difficult for me. And I love performing. And the one thing we're going to do on this tour that we've never done an American tour, I'm going to rip through 8 or 9 of the number ones hits that I've written for other artists, and I'm going to perform them like they were written. It's going to be.
You've never done that before?
No, I've done.
Whoa.
I play Halo. I started playing Halo maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I played Halo on tour, and that was the only song that I would do. But now I'm doing we're going to do Bleeding Love. I'm going to do Little Nas X. That's what I want. I'm going to do in some of the country states. I'll do Thomas Rhett, Beer Camp Fix, and other hits I've had in country. I'm going to do Ellie Goulding, Burn. I'm going to do Maroon 5, Love Somebody. And
I forgot you did that.
Yeah. I really want to love somebody. We're going to do Maps. The map that leads to you. Ain't nothing I can do. We're going to do Maps and Love Somebody and Burn and Adele. Rumor has it, I'm going to be Jonas Brothers Sucker. We go together. Like I'm gonna rip through all those as part of the set, and
I've written everything.
I've never been able to do that before, and we finally pieced it together, and it's gonna be. I mean, the fact that I've never performed Bleeding Love is ridiculous. I should have been doing it from day one, but I had this weird ego thing about like, no, I can only do OneRepublic songs, right? And we've had enough hits that like you can fill a set with OneRepublic. Like and the hardcore fans want to see that. I busted out doing a couple songs in Europe, kind of as a parlor trick. We were in like the UK, and I played 2 or 3 songs, just a snippet of it, and it went off like a grenade. And I was like, oh my God, why have we not been doing? I mean, Pharrell, you see him live, and half of his set is songs he did for other artists, you know? So it's that we're doing it this time. And so if you want to see, I just say, if you want to see all those songs live, and then now we have the Top Gun song. So it's like the timing is kind of perfect to do it. And I'm excited because this will be the first time we've ever done it.
Top Gun is a pretty good video for a song. You know, I think I heard you say it's Tom Cruise made you the greatest video ever.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, and you sent a thank you note to my understanding,
yes.
Miles Teller's abs.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Yeah, it's actually being sent out today. So the movie came out and took off, and then the song, of course, again, thank you, Tom Cruise, Paramount Pictures. But our song basically is a $70 million music video.
That's the phrase. Yeah. Oh my God.
Because it's like all these actors and John Hamm and Tom Cruise and Miles Teller and you name it. And he gave us so much footage from the movie for our music video that it's probably $100 million music video. And the beach scene, the beach football scene, is like 3.5 minutes. Well, that's longer than our song is. So literally they just replay our song over and over and over again, the chorus for 3.5 minutes. And it's a music video for our record, which is like, I've had songs in movies before, but this is crazy. I've never had this happen. It was a gift from God. So that helped the song get, people kind of embed the song in your brains and whatever. And we did an okay job writing it. So there's that,
There's that.
But then the TikTok thing, right? And as I've said before, and will continue to say, like almost any artist, like 95% of all artists, if they don't have like 100 million or 200 million followers on Instagram or socials, TikTok, you need something to go viral.
I think you said, I may pause you on this story, to have a hit song these days,
yes.
It almost takes a cultural moment.
It takes a cultural moment.
So I want you to expand on that later on in the
Let's
countdown.
do it.
I've been making notes on everything.
We're going to get to it.
I ain't worried. What else should we say about this track?
What else should you say about it? It's I didn't see it coming. Like
Are those the best though?
Those are the best. Like with Counting Stars also, nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. And it's just like it was the third single, for God's sake. We barely had a budget for the video, shot it in New Orleans without air conditioning in the summer. And Counting Stars was the song that everybody was sleeping on. And then it became the biggest hit, one of the biggest hits of all time. And it started going viral again during the pandemic. Like somebody did a thing on TikTok. Song shot up into the top 100 on Spotify out of nowhere and has just kind of stayed there because of a TikTok video.
Wow.
And yeah, it's bizarre. And with I Am Worried, same deal. Yeah, I mean, if you put it in a stack of 4 songs that we've released in the last 12 months and said which one is the song that's going to explode, I mean, I would have been wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong. It's fine. I've gotten used to not knowing, and I'm happy. I'm just grateful. I'm more grateful now to have a record connect in this way, for sure, than I was when Apologize came out, or any of the early stuff.
Wow.
Way more grateful.
Ryan, 2-part question. Best live performance you've ever done, in your opinion? And then the complete flip of that, what is the worst live performance you've ever done? So let's talk near perfection, complete disaster.
Near perfection, I'm going to divide that answer in half. Near perfection for me and for what the band thinks and from the feedback we've gotten from promoters is this last tour in Europe. So, which I finally landed after 15 years on the alchemy of dividing OneRepublic songs and introducing the hits I've written for other artists into the same set. So when you go for 90 minutes or 2 hours, virtually every song you hear, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 old cuts or new things, virtually every song you hear was a monster record for 90 minutes. You're like, I know every single song. Even if you're not a card-carrying OneRepublic fan and you show up with a friend, you get to the end of the concert and the comments are goes, I came here with a friend. I knew every song. And that's like when I went to see Steve Miller Band 5 years ago. I was like, oh my God, he wrote that? Like, it's like, you don't realize how many hits Steve Miller Band had. So that, I finally landed on we landed on the right alchemy. My voice is better now than it's ever been. I can sing whatever I want to now that I couldn't used to. So I'd say this last tour was perfection on tape, like on captured live performance. The best, maybe one of the best performances I've ever done was vocally, at least for me. I did a duet with Pharrell at the Grammys Stevie Wonder tribute thing that was live, and in the front row, I was the most scared I've ever been live, most scared by a million miles. I get out on stage and I see in front of me, in a row, it goes Jay-Z, Beyonce, their kids, one aisle over, Stevie Wonder, his entire family, right? He has a lot of kids. Next to him, Michelle, Barack Obama, and then directly across the aisle, all front row, Paul McCartney.
Oh, God.
And so I get out there and I am losing my mind. And we're singing, by the way, not only am I losing my mind, we're singing what I think is one of the hardest Stevie Wonder songs ever called Don't Worry About a Thing. It is the weirdest chord changes. It is the hardest song. And I had rehearsed it so many times that muscle memory kicked in and I nailed every note. And I watched back the performance and I'm singing with Pharrell Williams, who's a good friend, like really good friend of mine. We have the same manager. He's my homie. I don't want to mess up. And all the rehearsing kicked in and I've watched it back 2 or 3 times and been like, that might be the best I've ever sounded. So you can watch that on YouTube. That's me being like, okay, you did a good job.
Wow.
And I'd say the worst performance by far, also captured on television, when Good Life was a hit off of our second album. It was the 3rd single and it out of nowhere became a big hit. And we're performing it at the Billboard Music Awards. Again, I think McCartney in the audience because he was up for an award. I was like, all my best and worst. He's seen it all. And all these other huge stars are there. Bruno's there. Well, blah, blah, blah. I get out to do Good Life. I think I also performed the Rocketeer, like with like Black Eyed Peas and stuff. I did like 2 performances that night. I get out to perform Good Life. Opening chords, I'm walking out, I go to strum my guitar, and my in-ears become unplugged.
Oh, God.
It's live television. I now cannot hear anything that my band is doing. It is the only audio I hear is the music that is bouncing off. It's in Vegas. From the stage, it has to go all the way to the back of the arena and then bounce back to me. So I'm hearing everything a second delayed from when it's happening. I can't hear my voice. I can't hear the track. I can't hear the drums are all over the place, the guitar. If anyone who's listening, if your in-ears come out during a live performance, you are sunk. Like it is, you're just toast. And so that performance I knew from the look on my face of my manager when I walked off stage, there was no fist pump. There was no high five. Oh my God. I was out of pocket the entire time. I was singing the wrong notes. And then my nerves kicked in because I knew what was happening and I just fell apart. So like me doing Good Life Billboard Awards on live television was the single worst performance of my life. Not my fault, but the cable became unplugged and I couldn't hear. I was completely deaf during that performance.
If you guys come across that on YouTube, just delete that one.
Tag me in that.
Yeah.
And let's go viral, baby.
Right. Ryan, you've written for everyone, but this one kind of caught me, I don't want to say by surprise, but kind of raised an eyebrow. Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah.
What the? I mean,
yeah.
You've written for everyone in pop,
yeah,
and rock and all this, but he's the Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness.
How did talk me through this?
So one of my really good friends and co-writers, one of the most talented. He won Producer of the Year a couple years ago at the Grammys. Actually, Andrew Watt. So
right, yeah,
wrote everything from Bieber, to Selena Gomez, one of Bieber's biggest hits, Selena's biggest hits. We did half the Miley album together. Sam Smith. Anyway, so he kind of had a bunch of huge pop hits and decided he wanted to scratch his rock itch and started producing. He did the Eddie Vedder album. He's doing Pearl Jam right now. He did Stones, but he started with Ozzy Osbourne, and this is 2 years ago, right?
Okay.
And I knew that he'd done Ozzy. The album was phenomenal. Comes out, it's Ozzy's first #1 album in forever, and I had worked with U2 and Paul McCartney and Peter Gabriel, and I'd done a handful of The Killers. I'd done some rock stuff, right? And there was a song I think it was for his documentary, an end title, or for the album. I forget in which context the song is coming out, but I know it's coming. And he says, "Hey, do you want to work with Ozzy? We have 2 open days. I need you on this." Of course, I said yes. Go over there. I spent 2 days with Ozzy. You can't, writing with him takes forever because you are laughing the whole time. Ozzy Osbourne is low key the funniest in music. Everything he says is this like quip, dig, joke, troll. Like he's literally crushing you with laughter because he's so irreverent, and he can turn anything you say into the most sordid, disgusting joke of all time. And he's also the nicest guy ever. Like the Prince of, as people know, the Prince of Darkness. If anyone watched the television show with Ozzy and his family,
that kind of took down some of the darkness.
You quickly realize he's a puppy dog in the nicest way. But then he gets on the microphone, I've been thinking, and it turns into the Ozzy sound, and he still sounds as good. And I left that day, and then Andrew Watt texted me, it was probably 2 months ago. He's like, I think I got Jeff Beck on guitar, like even better. Okay. Sends me the text of the final mixed mastered version of the song, and I'm sitting here listening to it in the kitchen, and my wife goes, "Is that Ozzy Osbourne?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Why are you playing Ozzy Osbourne?" And I go, "Because I wrote this. I wrote it with Ozzy." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's just like, "Wow, something new every day." Okay. And I my favorite thing in the world, there's a reason I'm working with like Anita, right? Like I'm executive producing Anita, which, she had her big Involvere, like crazy moment a few months ago. First number 1 solo Latin artist in the world. And we have the new Anita single coming with Missy Elliott, believe it or not, coming here in a couple weeks. And I signed on to EP Anita 2 years ago. Everyone's like, "Why are you doing Anita?" I said, because is there anything more bizarre than what you know about me, Ryan Tedder or OneRepublic, as a writer, executive producing like a Latin artist, the largest artist in the history of Brazil, who's a Latin star. And I wanted to do it for the sole purpose of, this is something I've never done before. I'm not trying to check the same boxes. I'm trying to push myself into something that I'm uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable in the Latin world, and now I'll step into any room with any Latin artist and I know what to do. I know how to write the record, how to produce it. I know that I'm doing the melodies, not writing the Spanish lyrics, because I'm not bilingual, but I know that I can make a banger Latin record because I just dove into the water and said, I'll figure it out. And that's the type of stuff I like to do. With the Ozzy session is no different. It's like, why are you in the room with Ozzy? Because I can be.
To wrap this segment up, let me throw another artist at you, BLACKPINK.
BLACKPINK, yeah.
Are you working? Can you say anything about that?
I will confirm that. Yeah, I worked with BLACKPINK on this upcoming album. I don't know which all songs are making it. There's no way to tell. It's like in my dream world, I've got 3. In my worst case, I got 1. Either way, I'm happy. I hope I have the single. On the last album, I did the record with Cardi B. That was the Bet You Wanna, which is the second single. I love BLACKPINK. Like, worship them. I think they're the sickest group ever, and they're the nicest girls. They're super talented. I co-wrote, one of the songs we co-wrote with them, and they contributed lyrics and melody. I mean, they know what they're doing. I just think they're like the coolest group there is. Like I'm a massive card-carrying BLACKPINK fan.
Same. Ryan, this is not a question about you or about the group OneRepublic, but we're talking about this behind the scenes here, and I am just curious because you know the music industry so well, and people ask me this, and I'm actually kind of curious. How does an artist make money? Give me the short version of, is it, streams? Is it radio airplay? Is it tour? Is it merch? How does an artist make money? Because, or is it tough as an artist, unless you're giant, to make a living? It's
tough for... Yeah, I'll try and make this as succinct as possible. The equation with revenue for artists has always been in the favor of the record label tremendously, like pretty much 8-1. So streaming is starting to get better.
Is that because the label put so much into
back in the day?
Okay,
it's two things. They still can today. So I'm not shortchanging record labels or what they do. back in the day, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you had to rent a studio, a legit studio. There weren't home studios, right? Technology has changed the entire thing, where any kid in a basement, some 17-year-old kid in his basement uploaded the 30-second clip of trumpets and horns that became Savage Love on TikTok. He's 17. He made the song for $0 in his basement, and the song is probably made somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'd say, $7 or $8 million total.
I met the kid. He was
New Zealander kid, right? So it's changed. The value proposition of record labels has changed because they don't have to. I'm saying have to. They don't have to come out of pocket with crazy amounts of money to make albums in studios with crazy producers. And then not only that, back in the day, you had to pay for shipping and breakage, and LPs and vinyl cost more to make, and you have to deal with distribution, all the trucks driving them around to different record stores. You had to have relationships. The value that record labels brought back in the day, there was a lot of value. There's a lot more risk then too. Go shoot a $500,000 music video, right? All these things. All those things have changed now. Streaming has increased the revenue for record labels exponentially. This is the heyday of the record industry. The streaming doesn't pay songwriters that much. Now, artists make a percentage of what the record label makes, anywhere from, call it 16 to 23%, depending on where they are, what stage they are in their career. There are some artists now who, if they have leverage, can broker a 50-50 deal with a label, or 60-40, or sometimes 80-20 in favor of the artist. If you've already got a hit out that happened by itself, or if you're a Marshmello, you're independent and you do single song deals. Lauv, independent. He owns everything. That's extremely rare. Extremely rare. Most artists, get signed. If something blows up on TikTok, you're going to have multiple labels bidding at you. So the number might get into $2, $3, $4, $5 million that the label's risking on an artist up front. So yeah, the label's going to want a traditional deal. How the artist actually makes money, if you write your own songs and you don't have 19 writers on your song, right? If you're Olivia Rodrigo, and let's use that, or me, like a lot of our biggest hits for OneRepublic, I wrote 100% of. Counting Stars, Apologize, Secrets, like a lot of these songs were just me. And traditionally, Conan Gray, Heather, that's just him. All the Olivia stuff is mostly just her and Dan Nigro. So those two people write the song. It goes on radio. If the song becomes a radio smash, to this day, right? Big shout out radio. Radio outpays everything by a landslide.
Wow.
So having a radio hit, if you're in a songwriter room in Los Angeles or Nashville or New York or London right now, and you're talking about having a hit, I hope it's the single. I hope it's the single. The reason is you want it to have a shot at going to radio. If it goes to radio and connects and sticks around, that's literally that's how you make a living. That's how you buy a house, right? Now, having a radio hit does not equal a successful touring artist. The two are not mutually exclusive. They don't live together, right? You can have both, right? A great example would be like John Mayer in his heyday, where he's having radio hits that sell albums and he's also selling out tours, right? BTS having radio hits, streaming hits, sell out tours. That's the dream scenario. But for a lot of artists, the best thing that you can do is, while you're having hits, because you're not guaranteed hits for the rest of your life, build up a true audience, tour. And the only way to do that is get in a van and then tour until you can afford a tour bus, and then earn those fans the hard way, so that when you don't have hits, they're still there. And then you make your money touring. For most artists, what anyone in the industry will tell you is the majority of their income comes from touring. I'm a rare exception for that. Yes, we do well touring, but you make money, then you split it 4 ways or 5 ways, depending on how many people are in your band. And for me, writing songs, the income from writing songs has always and will always drastically exceed what I make being on the road, because I'm a writer. So there are multiple ways to make money as an artist, but at the end of the day, your dream is, the only security you have is, while you're having hits, you hit the road and you convert those into real fans, because then they'll be there with you when you put out that one album that just kind of stinks and doesn't connect, because
it happens.
It happens. The good news about now, the bad news about 2022, it's the hardest time in history to actually have a global hit by far. And I write 9 to 10 times as many songs now to achieve 1/3 the amount of hits that I used to. And it's just a fact. And I'm a better writer than I am now. But it's because 75,000 songs come out a day, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not complaining. I'm still writing because what else am I going to do? I love what I do. That's why I'm still doing it. And I never did it for the money. I still don't. So when something connects, like with I Ain't Worried or Little Nas with That's What I Want, every single time to me, it's like I won the lottery. And I don't count on it ever working again. This could be the last song, the last hit I have. I don't think it'll be, but it could be. And so I treat every single one of those like it's like I won the lottery.
I hope young artists, you're paying attention to that. That's a lesson in music.
There you go.
Right there. Is this really true? You've performed Apologize so much that you can literally, while performing, write in your head a totally different song while singing Apologize.
Yeah. I mean, it's not writing another song. What I can do while playing Apologize, it's so committed to muscle memory that while I'm playing it, depending on my mood that night, I can go through as I'm singing and playing, and I can sing in my head other songs over those chords with those melodies that might work over those chords. So I might go, I've done it countless times. So then I might finish the song and the audience thinks it's done, and then I go into a completely different song over those chords at the same tempo, because I realize while I'm performing it, what would work over this? And I'm going through this whole thought process as the song's going by, and I'm still singing and performing, and it's the weirdest.
That is bizarre.
It's the weirdest thing, man. It's the weirdest thing, and it's worked every time. Yeah.
Do other things go through your head? I forgot to pick, as you're performing, I forgot to pick up the dog food. And you're just
I mean, I can literally, it's one of the only songs because I'm seated. Also, I'm not staring at the audience. When I do Apologize, I'm facing at an angle because of the way the piano is. So it's the only moment in a set where I don't do it every time, but I've had moments for sure where if my mind's going to wander during our set at all and think about anything else, it's going to happen during that song, because I've done it. It's almost as if my avatar kicks in. You know what I mean?
That's so crazy.
I am my own avatar when I'm doing that song. I could think about, I could probably do mathematical calculations in my head. I could do a lot of processing is taking place behind the scenes.
When I'm just get a camera in your brain when that song is going on, we could have a nice experiment.
Honestly,
you said earlier that to have a hit in this day and age, this era, that you almost need to have a cultural moment.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of layers to that, and that's maybe that's not every case, every song, but walk me through that. What do you mean by that?
So used to back in the day, I would say, let's say prior to 2018, 2017, if you wrote a great song as an artist and it was a hit, right? There were, I call them levers that you would pull because you didn't have the majority of the world on 4 or 5 different social media platforms dividing their attention. You didn't have streamers. You didn't have Netflix and Amazon and blah, blah, blah. People were watching A, television, whether it's cable or regular, or B, they might be on Twitter, or Facebook, right? You weren't really competing with anything. So when you wanted to release a song, you would simply, there's 5-6 million people watching the Today Show, right? And at the time, you had The Voice, which was the most watched show in television history. And it was almost not a guarantee, but it was, if the song was a hit, if the song was great, we could, as a band, as an artist, go on The Voice, especially if it was the finale where 24 million people were watching.
Jesus, right.
Go on The Voice, perform the song, and that night you would see your song go from not even on the chart to number 1 on iTunes. Number 1. And if you did the Today Show, you'd see your song go from 0 to number 20 to number 1 because of the Today Show or Good Morning America. I call those levers. They were, because so many people's attention were focused on The Voice or American Idol or whatever, performing on there was like the shot heard around the world. Everyone knew this. The hardest thing in the world to accomplish as an artist is to let the world know your song exists, with 75,000 songs being uploaded a day just to Spotify. So getting all that attention on the song is the hardest thing to make a hit happen, right? So you'd pull those levers, and as a band, we were great at that. We'd do all the TV shows, and we would march those songs up the hill. From Apologize, Stop and Stare, Good Life, Secrets, Counting Stars. We did the same thing each time, promoting the record, and it worked every single time. The moment social media comes into play, and now you've got people living on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, etc., they're not watching. They're not sitting around watching The Voice. They're not sitting around watching. Some people, right, an older demographic are watching Good Morning America, Today Show, but not the people that used to, not the same way. So now, for the way I say it is, and I mean now, 2022, 2023, 4 could be different. There's really one TV channel that the whole world is watching right now, and it's TikTok. And, will it change? Of course, everything changes. But now you need some type of an event, unless you're one of the lucky few that has 200 million followers. Like Ariana Grande doesn't need a TikTok moment, right? The Weeknd at this point doesn't need a TikTok moment. The rest of us, your song not only has to be great, there needs to be a cultural moment that happens globally surrounding your record that, by the way, has nothing to do with the song, really, how good the song is, right? It helps if the song is really good. Lizzo, About Damn Time. My buddy wrote that. I wrote it with Blake Slatkin, who we did Little Nas X, That's What I Want together. The day it came out, I heard it. I texted him, which I rarely do. I don't want to text artists that their song's a hit because I don't want to jinx it, right? But that one I heard and I go, man, that's a smash. One listen. It's like Friday morning, it comes out. I text him, I go, dude, I don't control anything, but in my ears, that song's a smash. I hope it converts for you. And he goes, thanks. Debuts in the 60s on Spotify, which is okay. Next day it drops to 150. Next day it drops out of the top 200. And I'm summarizing here, but basically the song kind of died on impact. About Damn Time. Think how big it's number one in America right now. It's like 19,000 spins a week or a day or whatever. And it was dead on impact. And this is the thing that the label knows this. Blake knows this. I'm sure Lizzo remembers. She was promoting it every day on TikTok like a good artist would, right? She's promoting her own song. Nothing that she was doing was really driving the song. She hosted SNL and performed it. The song didn't go up at all, right? It moved on iTunes, which is like 5,000 people, right? But it didn't really react. 10 days after the song's released, she's teasing new songs. They're teasing new songs on TikTok. I'm sitting here going, I'm angry for Lizzo because I love the song and I love Lizzo and I love Blake. And I'm sitting here going, what in the world, man? This song's a smash. How is this not connecting? What is going on? Basically, 2 weeks, I'm summarizing, 2 weeks roughly after the song comes out, some girl does a dance to the second verse. In a minute, I'm going to need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. That line goes viral. That dance, that move, that line, that moment goes viral. Within 72 hours, the song went from not on the chart to top 30, top 20, top 10. Global smash. And it sticks because the video, then Lizzo does a duet. She then does the dance. Then every celebrity, everybody she knows does the dance. And that's the cultural moment I'm talking about. Now, it doesn't have to be a dance. It could be somebody making scrambled eggs. It could be somebody literally washing their dog. I just mean some type of cultural moment. For us, it's Top Gun. And really, it leads to not just Top Gun, but on TikTok, and I didn't even know this was happening, the dance that Miles Teller does on the beach.
All right.
Shirt off. He's leaning back, laughing in slow motion with an 8-pack, and his shirt's off. And our song, I'm sitting here in the background going, I ain't worried about it right now. Right? And he's just kind of laughing.
Cultural moment.
There's the moment. That went off on TikTok. And then his wife started trolling all these people and adding fuel to the fire because he's not even on TikTok. But the song went off on TikTok because of that moment and his abs. And so today, and I'll send you the video, I'm handwriting a thank you letter to Miles Teller's abs, and I'm buying a very expensive bottle of champagne, and I'm having one of my people drop it off for him and his wife, and it's a heartfelt Miles abs. Thank you for being such low body fat. Thank you for being so just rippling and just angular and inspiring. Frankly, I could wash half of my wardrobe on his abs.
And wouldn't we all be so lucky to have my shirt on his abs? That'd be great. Not sure why I said that. All right, Ryan Tedder's hanging out, you guys. God, what what else do people need to know, Ryan? Mad Tasty, what else do people need to know?
Mad Tasty, get your beverage. What else do people know? I'm just happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be on the radio with you. We've been doing this since 2000. For a long time. Right. For a long time. And I'm just thrilled. We're going to be playing Anaheim, the Pond, down in Anaheim, coming in September. We were going to do the Forum, but then around the same time, the same week. But then I called an audible, and no offense, to the Forum, it's a fine venue. But my favorite show, one of my top 3 favorite shows of all time, was the Hollywood Bowl. When we performed it, and it was a sellout, and it was like a highlight of my life. So I told Live Nation, I don't care if it's September, October, whenever it is, I want to do the Hollywood Bowl. So at some point, we're going to be doing the Hollywood Bowl for this tour. And I don't know, go see Top Gun, go check out I Ain't Worried, and everybody just treat each other well, be good, wash your hands.
There we go. All right, Ryan Tedder, at the end of every interview, fist bump to make it official, my friend.
Bam.
Bam.